we record these on YouTube
Mm.
and we'll post it on YouTube and everything. You guys watching on Facebook, do you think I need to go in there and cancel those, or are we
You
good?
have to. That's what's going to cause that the whole time.
You think I need to, as you said?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
you're going to need to if you want that to be a consistent because it's choppy.
Mm.
We're both trying to use upload speed, so that's just what's gonna do
Wonder
it
if you can pause the
Mm.
uploads.
on YouTube. Probably
Yeah.
you could probably click a pause
I'll
button.
go look. Hunter's gonna cover up, get kind of touch base on everything we're gonna talk about today. We got all kinds of stuff to get into. No Gene today. We're just you and me, man.
No Gene.
All right, Hunter,
No
we'll walk in here
Gene.
and check it out.
Yeah, no Genes. Just me and Kevin in today. We got a little bit of sports happening in the world: baseball, basketball, and football, all going on right now. And we're looking forward to that. Another game tonight in the NBA. There was a game last night between the Lakers and the Nuggets. It was interesting for if anybody watched it. Tonight's game, game 4, Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. And then also, not tonight, but tomorrow night, the Thursday night game for the official start of week 3 in the NFL. We're already 3 weeks into the NFL season. That will be the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That will be the battle for Florida. Winner, I guess, can claim Florida. Loser just doesn't get Florida. That's kind of just how it's going to be at this point. I'm excited really about that game. I have been red hot recently with my NFL takes. Yeah, I have been red hot. Last week for week 2, out of the 16 games played, I went 14-2. And the only reason why I missed those 2 picks last week was because one of them was a heart pick. I picked my team. I picked Washington. And the second one was because the Falcons absolutely crapped the bed and they let the Dallas Cowboys come back from behind. And to be completely honest, only the Falcons could have lost in that way. So if you take away me doing a heart pick, taking my team, Washington, and then you take away my pick where the Falcons essentially lost the game, Dallas didn't win a game, I could have been 16-0, if the Washington game I actually kind of try and pick with my head and I decide to take the Cardinals. There's 15-1. And some people are thinking, oh, Hunter, you didn't go 14-2. I sure did. You can go back and watch previous shows, and it will show that I did, in fact, pick those games. And Monday's show, because the Monday night game didn't happen until later that night, Monday's show did, in fact, show me picking the Raiders to upset, if you want to even call it upset, the Raiders to defeat the Las Vegas Raiders to defeat the New Orleans Saints. And they did. The Raiders looked like the better team Monday. We'll probably get into that here in a second. More and more teams throughout the MLB have finally clinched playoff spots. The Dodgers clinched a playoff spot. Last night, I know one that really made me happy. The Braves clinched a playoff spot. And that was the one I was the most excited for, especially the Braves. Braves 20-time division champions, and this is the 3rd year straight that they've claimed the division, so that's a big one as well. Hockey at the same time. It's crazy to think of how many sports are going on right now. If you're a sports fan and you love watching sports, there are just so many that are going on right now, and it's almost as if you don't have enough eyes or enough televisions, enough monitors, enough devices to watch these games on, that you sometimes miss out on things, and that's tough. Last night, did I want to watch the NBA playoff game or did I want to watch one of the Atlanta Braves games? And it turned out to be the game that they clinched in. I had to decide, it was just one or the other. I ended up watching the NBA game. So right now for sports fans, this is a fantastic time, especially because let me see, what was it? 3 or 4 months that we went without sports, it's almost like they're all making up for it right now. College football's even going on. Totally forgot to even mention them. The SEC kicks off this weekend. They finally are getting started in college football. A team has already canceled a game or postponed a game for this coming weekend, and one of the big Power 5 teams already has done that. And then the Big Ten got reinstated. So sports fans everywhere, rejoice. This is the best time of the year right now. It's almost as if it's Christmas in September. You just have something you can watch every night. Major League Baseball starting to wind down a little bit more. We're getting closer and closer to deciding the finals for the NBA, which is always going to be fun. And then you have the NFL, which is just raring to go. So with that, I want to go ahead and get started talking about the Monday night game. We'll just go ahead and knock this one out of the way because it did happen Monday night. We don't have shows on Tuesdays, so we have to address what we saw Monday night on Wednesday. Monday night for me with the Raiders, they just looked significantly better on offense than the New Orleans Saints did. Significantly better. And the only reason why I say that significantly better is because I think Derek Carr outplayed Drew Brees. And I think we're getting ready to start to see something with Drew Brees. I was watching the game, and Drew, his arm seemed weak. That's one thing that a lot of people have tried to say we're going to start seeing with Brady. We just haven't seen it. They're saying, oh, well, it's going to go. His arm strength is going to go. He's not going to be able to throw the ball nearly as well downfield at some point. We just haven't seen it yet. So we can't really believe that. We don't really know what it's going to look like when it happens to Brady. We have seen this with Drew Brees. We saw this about 2 years ago when they lost to the Rams. I'm trying to think because they've gotten screwed so many times. We saw this 2 years ago with Drew Brees when they played against the Rams in the playoffs, or really that season as a whole. The later the season got, it seemed to be more of a wear and tear on Drew Brees' arm. And it started to really show in the distance of the ball that he could throw. A lot of it was dink and dunk that we like to say Tom Brady would run with New England. And you can't say that he didn't have weapons like you used to be able to say with Brady. His weapons was only like Gronk, Edelman, and then the running backs out of the backfield. No. Like, they've had weapons down in New Orleans for Drew Brees for a while. But then you saw it again. You were expecting to see it last year, but what I think helped, even though this isn't going to sound like it helped, is when Drew Brees got injured and he was out for almost 5 weeks. Like, let his arm stay rested, and it wasn't going to be nearly as dead as it was towards the end of the season. Now we're here in this season. Week 1, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty good against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, but if you really break down that game week 1 for Drew Brees, was it that the Saints just beat them, or did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat themselves and Tom Brady didn't nearly play as good as they could have played, and they were still trying to figure out what kind of team they were going to be as a whole? So that all of those things, break those down, and then you watch the Monday night game between the Saints and the Raiders. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say it, I did take the Raiders. I didn't quite get to go into why, but I did say I think Michael Thomas not being there for the Saints really hurts. I thought that was really going to hurt their offense. Emmanuel Sanders was a no-show. He was targeted 3 times before he finally caught a pass in the fourth quarter. Like, he dropped all 3 of his other targets, caught one when it was really dumpster time, and the game was over at that point. So I think we're getting ready to see something with the Saints for maybe the next few weeks. People really need to just keep an eye on, and that's Drew Brees. And everybody knows this technically is his last year. He has signed a contract with, I can't remember who it is, NBC or somebody, for at the end of the season. He's going to the booth. So just watch for his arm. I don't think it's going to be the same. Nowhere near the strength that it's been in years past. You could tell that against the Raiders. And the reason why I think it's more alarming now, and that's something that you really need to focus in on, is because the Raiders' defense is nothing special. That's not the strength of that team. That was not a takeaway that I took at all watching the Raiders and Saints game Monday night. I did not think that at all. Oh wow, this Raiders defense is really special. No, I thought their offense was special. I think the Raiders have potentially a top 10 offense in the league. Great wide receivers. Darren Waller might be the third best tight end in the league outside of George Kittle and Travis Kelce. And then Derek Carr, all he wants is respect, and every year he puts up great numbers and just never gets the respect. So I think that team has the opportunity for a top 10 offense. But defensively, they did nothing to me that just stood out. Like they didn't sack Drew Brees at all that game. It wasn't that the offensive line played bad for the Saints either. I just think right now the Saints were getting ready to see a little bit of a limitation to their offense. Because even with them having Michael Thomas, the most yards that Michael Thomas gets are not through the air. Like he's not a deep threat. He gets him off that slant route that he runs, and he just outruns everybody because Drew Brees places it where only he can catch it, and he just takes off. I seriously do think this year, I was high on the Saints. I was like, you know what? Even if the Saints win the division, I think Tampa Bay and Tom Brady and them come in second, and they both make the playoffs. I don't know. Because Drew Brees really did not look that good at all. But I don't want to take that away. I don't want to just always put it on the Saints. I thought the Raiders looked really good. I thought they looked really good. And I was highly impressed by their offense. And I am looking forward to seeing how they do going forward. They do, in fact, come to New England this weekend, the Raiders, to play. Could they beat New England? Maybe. I think their offense could possibly be top 10. If I had to narrow it down, maybe top 7. And this is also what I have to remember, too, is, I had a dark horse getting in the playoffs out of that same division with the Chiefs, and it was the Broncos. Well, damn, Drew Lock ain't going to be them now. Drew Lock's injured. Their number one receiver's out with a torn ACL. Von Miller's done for the season. I mean, the injury bug is just hit them right now.
Trevor Lawrence to Denver.
Maybe. They did just sign Blake Bortles for a league minimum just to bring him in and be the quarterback right now. So, hey, there's no guarantee that they win a game. But if I had to look for another team in the AFC that could possibly get a wild card spot, just sneak in, if the Raiders play on offense like they did against the Saints, I could see it. And one person that I forgot to mention, and he now has the most rushing yards within like his first 16 starts in Raiders history, and that's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is a very good running back. He had 100+ yards against, I know, the bad defense that it is in the Carolina Panthers in week 1, but the Saints defense is not bad. They got great players all over the Saints defense, whether it's secondary, Cam Jordan on the defensive end, and linebackers. So I think Josh Jacobs and this offense with Derek Carr, maybe they'll get Henry Ruggs going at some point, and Darren Waller, I could see them top 10 offense easily. If the defense comes around, I could see them making the playoffs. And I know that's a lot to take from what you just saw in week 2, but it is against a team.
Raiders?
Yeah, it is against a team that a lot of people would sit here and probably say, yeah, that's a playoff team. The Saints. They have a good defense. They have a Hall of Fame quarterback. They've got this and they've got that, but I mean they didn't look good at all.
All right, are you done with the blasphemy?
Blasphemy.
Are you done with that last 5 minutes of blasphemy?
I had no blasphemy that I said.
You know how much blasphemy? That was just total,
not blasphemy,
unadulterated Drew Brees blasphemy. You need to quit. You need to quit watching TV.
No. You mean I need to stop watching the football game that I watched?
Hunter, who had the most yards passing in that game? The Raiders or the Saints quarterback?
What's the matter?
If one's garbage, the other one has to be too. If he had more yards.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, Drew Brees had more yards in that game. Brees had more yards. He was 26 of 38, Hunter.
Okay.
If it's 13 divided by 19, what's the percentage on that? It's got to be 60-something percent.
Okay.
His number one receiver wasn't out there. In fact, here's how good Michael Thomas is. He's the best wide receiver in football.
Maybe.
Hold on. As far as catching the football, when you look at the numbers.
It's debatable.
No, it's not. When you look at the numbers.
It's early DeAndre Hopkins.
No. I'm talking.
It's debatable.
When you pull out the actual catch radiuses, balls thrown to him, catch percentages, he's got the highest catch percentage of anybody. Now, when you take a passing offense as number one weapon away, Hunter, you probably won't score 30-something points in that game, but, you'll do okay. So
yeah, but do you know who the leading receiver was for the Saints in that game?
Probably Kamara. I don't know.
It was Kamara. That was a lot of dink and dunk, isn't it?
No, what I'm saying is that they have nobody. They have no weapons.
What is Emmanuel Sanders? They just pulled him in.
He obviously isn't too good, is he? So what I've read on Sanders is Sanders doesn't know the offense.
No, he doesn't. He got here like halfway through the offseason.
So Emmanuel does not know the offense. He's even commented that it's complicated. So when you hear last time we heard a wide receiver say the offense was complicated was Chad Johnson in New England, and he didn't do nothing and got left out. Brees had 312 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception against the Raiders. Now, Hunter, this is what we do. We've had 2 weeks of this already. And it's fun to watch.
What?
Depending on whether your team wins or loses is how you're viewed as how you played. Let's say New Orleans shut out the Raiders in that game defensively.
I mean, he had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. And that pick was bad.
Let's say
that pick was bad.
Let's say
he missed him bad.
Hunter, the defender, have you seen the video?
The defender was just standing right there.
I know, in the middle of the logo. He was blended in with the logo.
Oh, my God.
I'm seriously. So, now, I don't even remember what I was saying before that. Oh, they scored 24 points without the number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And a horrible game by Brees with 312 yards
I told you
passing.
this defense is bad. They even let the Panthers score 30.
Who are you talking about?
The Raiders.
Right. So what I'm saying is, Hunter, if the Saints would have shut out the Raiders and let's say the score is 24-3.
But they didn't.
Drew Brees doesn't play linebacker.
I know he doesn't.
So what I'm telling you, Hunter, if you would listen, is if the Saints would have won 24-3, what would your analysis have been?
The Raiders are bad.
And Drew Brees is still done? Would that have been the analysis?
Well,
if they won 24-3?
Possibly.
Think about it.
Possibly.
Everybody I'm looking at
right
in week one. He goes scored 21 points, and Bridgewater's awful, and he scored more.
Yeah, I'm just looking, and all I can see, they're not telling me how many yards per throw Drew Brees averaged.
Okay.
Because it was not much. Meanwhile, Derek Carr was slinging the ball all over the field.
Drew Brees had more yards.
Listen, Drew Brees. Yeah, I mean, I hate that they count yards for even yards after catch. It's not just what's through the air. So, I mean, when you dink the ball over to Alvin Kamara and he gets a 15-yard run because everybody's covering wideouts, I mean, that's going to happen. Look, what I saw out of Drew Brees was a lot of just mid-range, not even mid-range, like middle of the field throws.
Would you rather
There's nothing deep.
Would you ever have a 6 or 7 yard completion or a 45-yard incompletion?
Well, I want a guy that's not going to be afraid to take the top off.
Who's he throwing it to, though, Hunter? Again, who's he going to throw it deep to?
Well, you can throw
Michael Thomas there. They have nothing. They don't have a deep threat. They don't got Ted Ginn in there anymore.
I know. I don't even know where Ted Ginn
is.
So
the offense is designed, and you're right.
It is designed to be for just nice little slant routes.
And then when somebody gets open, he'll fire deep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about the Saints at all. They'll win their division.
I don't know if they win the division now.
Nah, I don't think the Bucs going to. Hey, the Falcons obviously aren't going.
The Falcons aren't. They'll choke away everything.
Well, let me go through down here.
I'll say this though. I know I gave a lot of flack to Drew and the Saints right now. But I try to give equally as much credit to how good this Raiders offense really is.
Who is Smith? Is he the tight end?
Who?
T. Smith
no.
for New Orleans?
No, the tight end is Jared Cook.
Who's Smith?
I don't know.
He had 5 catches, 85 yards. Traquan Smith, wide receiver number 10.
Yeah, he's number 10, isn't he?
Yeah. I have no idea who that is. Emmanuel Sanders, 1 catch. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't catch anything. Now, I can't blame Brees for that. You bring in a wide receiver because what is it to do his job, to catch a pass that's thrown to him, and he just didn't do it. He didn't do it. I don't know. If it happens, it happens. But we did see it 2 years ago though with Brees when he got later in the season, his arm started to give out on him.
I don't think it.
Then last year,
I don't see none of that.
Then last year, he got the 5 weeks off that he was injured, came back, and was just nice and rested.
All I hear is what you're saying. This analyst saying.
That's because that's what I saw with my eyes. I watched the game because I wanted to be right about the Raiders winning this game, and I was. And you're right. You know what? Even if it wasn't his arm, I did say the main reason why the Raiders will win this game is because there will be no Michael Thomas. And he is a big X factor.
Right.
And he does make a difference. He's a matchup nightmare for anybody that's on the field. I just want to give credit where credit is due, though. He gets a lot of flack. I had him in fantasy a few years ago. He's good, man. Derek Carr. Derek Carr is just so slept on. Nobody wants to give him any love. He's not the Mahomes or the Lamar that pulls something spectacular out of his you-know-what. Not the Aaron Rodgers. Hell, he's not even Brees with his completion percentage. But he's not bad in his completion percentage. He only missed through 10 passes. He had no picks. The problem was he was sacked 3 times.
Who's that?
Drew Brees wasn't sacked. Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not bad. This offense has got a lot of pop to it. Josh Jacobs can break out a long run at any moment. Darren Waller, like I said, might be the 3rd best tight end in the league. I'd have to just label everybody, but we know who the 2 are.
Hold on, Dink and Dunk. You ready?
I'm listening.
So Carr completed more passes and had less yards.
Yeah.
So who's dinking and dunking?
I don't know.
The guy who threw more passes for less yards.
I don't know about that.
Hunter, I'm just telling you, be careful before you start throwing Drew Brees in the tank.
I will throw Drew Brees in the tank. You know what? Because he won't make he might make the playoffs, but I can't guarantee it's because he wins the division now.
Tom says points for Kevin.
No.
What place are the Saints in, Hunter?
They're tied for first.
And who are they tied with?
They're tied with the Bucks.
And they beat them?
They're going to lose at Tampa Bay. I'm just sitting here saying they're going to lose at
they're
Tampa
going to
Bay.
cakewalk or something.
And no, Tom, there are no points for Kevin. Okay, there are none. Did you watch the football game?
Yes, there is.
I'm sorry. One of the 2 here at this table chose the Saints to win that and thought the other person was crazy for choosing the Raiders. As a matter of fact, Gene also chose the Raiders.
They did.
So I'm sorry, Tom, that my picks last week went 14-2. So.
Hunter, that's what Hunter's pumped about. It ain't got nothing to do with that, with Drew Brees. You just want to talk. All right. I did not think we were going to spend 10 minutes trashing Drew Brees, but since we were, I'm going to go through last week's scores real quick. All right, Hunter, this is a good one. Blake Bortles signs with Denver.
Yes, I saw that.
He has more career playoff wins